the liberal culture, what the message to young people is, the most you can aspire to in life is to be a consumer who sits in a cubicle in front of a computer all day and doesn't ask any questions, and doesn't do anything meaningful with your life. And what we need to say to young men and young women too is just the opposite. Aspire to be something more than a consumer. And for young men, aspire to be something more than a consumer pornography. Aspire to actually create something in your life, like create a family, for instance. That is the single greatest act of rebellion, if you like, against the liberal culture that is suppressing people's desires, that is suppressing their potential.
What are you talking about, Josh Hawley? Look, I'm not saying that, wanting to have a family or whatever and not just be a cog in a machine isn't a good thing. I think it's self-evident. It's weird that you consider that wise or unique. The idea that liberals just want people to be corporate drones. What does that have to do with liberalism, let alone leftism? And by the way, in terms of not just consuming something, creating, contributing and all that, you guys despise the arts. You despise creative expression. You despise anyone who tries to take a half step outside of the narrowly defined roles that you want to place on them based on their race, their class, their gender identity, all of that. What are you talking about? I get it if you just want to say to conservative men, stop just jacking off all day. I understand that as a general rule, but don't try to make some sort of big ideological distinction. You guys worship capitalism. You worship workers just being cogs in a machine and having no autonomy, no authority over their own lives. Get the hell out of here with your trying to make that a general thing about conservatism.
Well, conservatism, as we already know in many of these states that lean mostly red, that's when most of the pornography is actually consumed because of the limitations and all of how often they push back and tell them, hey, if you do this, if you do that, you're going to hell. You're going to be a useless member of society, but they sneak and do it behind closed doors, and it's like a kid getting to the liquor cabinet when the parents are out of town. I got to down this entire bottle of vodka now because if I don't, my mom's gonna kill me. So is that, but also he mentioned suppressing people's desires and their opportunities, right? Something along those lines. How about a livable wage? How about healthcare so you can live longer? How about job opportunities where you can get in these types of fields and live a better life? How about childcare? These things that they rail against that actually better people's lives and actually give them those opportunities and their abilities to be better human beings and Americans, and everybody gets uplifted here. They're against all of it. And they push those things aside as lazy people who want handouts. And those are opportunities. This is the land of the brave and the free and opportunity. But you suppress it and say that people that want to give that are suppressing it. It's just an upside down world. I know.
100%. By the way, it is entirely possible that he has just seen stats on how much conservative men are masturbating or something, or their porn consumption, and it's all external. That's entirely possible. But also sometimes if somebody comes to you and says something's a huge problem and it isn't, doesn't it sometimes say that they're just taking like their own thing? Like if I'm like talking about sugar consumption, probably about me, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, the Dijonais has said on Twitter, Josh on his way to clear his browser history with the shot of him running through the halls of Congress. Yeah. I would check Josh Hawley's computer. But anyway, have a family if you want to. We want people to be free to live the lives they want and to not have to define themselves by their job and work 80 hours a week. That's what we want on our side. We want people to not just be consumers, to create and express themselves. I would love to have Josh Hawley as an ally on that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.